broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We've experienced, first of all, in our own households. Somehow, we have to be able to make these taboos in our own personal life a commonplace within the culture. Because in that way, Bush couldn't lie to us. He couldn't manipulate us. He couldn't play on our fears and our insecurities and manipulate us against each other. He couldn't divide the country and say that there's two Americas, there's the rich and the poor, when we all are suffering from the same thing. In Watts is homicide, and Beverly Hills is suicide. So somehow we have to find a way to be able to expose our wounds, the things that we cover in our heart, the things that we are so secretive about. We have to find someone we love, someone we know, someone we don't know, and we have to expose those things.
It tells you that this is unpatriotic. Oh, please. You know what is unpatriotic? What is unpatriotic is holding back from speaking your truth. That is what is unpatriotic. Flypaper theory, right? That we're fighting them over there, so we're going to have to fight them over here. Well, the truth is that they're dying over here because we're fighting them over there. And so, I want to bring on Cindy by telling you one of my favorite quotes from the classical Greeks, you know, my tradition. And they were discussing orators in Greece once, and they said, when you hear Pericles, you hear people say, what a wonderful speaker. But when you hear Demosthenes, you hear people say, let us march. I bring you Cindy Shiva.
Wow, this is pretty incredible. I didn't go to Crawford to be a leader. I went to Crawford to, it's very simple. I'm a very simple person. You know, my son was killed and I wanted to know why. I saw 14 Marines were killed in one day, and that's the day I decided to go to Crawford. I saw the photo of I'll reach it over. And he was speaking to a group of business people in Texas somewhere. He didn't mention the 14 Marines or their families, but he said that everybody who has died in Iraq has died for a noble cause. And then he said, the thing that has infuriated me ever since my son died, my son was killed by his policies. He said, we have to complete the mission to honor the sacrifices of the ones who have fallen. And I have challenged him for months about that. And this was before he knew my name, but I would send him emails all the time. And I would say, stop using my son's name to justify your killing policies. You know, I was on Anderson Cooper a couple times. The first time I was on, I said, you know what, I'm here in Crawford because you don't do your job.
Well, that was Cindy Sheehan again. And the reason I like Cindy Sheehan is not because of any of her liberal policies, but simply on one issue. Her son, Casey Sheehan, was murdered by the Bush bad foreign policy. It's bad because it violates the Constitution. If Bush had been required by our gutless Congress, with gutless Congressmen like Elton Galigli and Lois Capps, if those two gutless wonders had been willing to force Bush to get a declaration of war from Congress, with the declaration you state when the war is won and how you end it. And by the way, Ron Paul, way back, offered a declaration of war, and everybody voted against it, including Ron Paul. His point was he wanted to have the war constitutional. And by the way, there's another part of the Constitution. It talks about setting bounties on specific individuals. It's called letters of marque and reprisal. Read your Constitution. It's in there, people. We didn't have to send all these guys to get depleted uranium poisoning, both our GIs, which to me is treason all by itself, and the others. I'm sorry I can't bring you that Sergeant Yeakey tape. It's not prepared properly, but we'll have it for you next week or the week thereafter. It's a real interesting interview with his mother. And when you hear that, you'll understand why. I want to tell you a little bit about Wilbur. Wilbur looks like a Santa Claus, big white beard. His little girl was taken from him on false lies by Child Protective Services in Oregon. And when it was all done, the Oregon authorities used his little girl for a kind of demonstration of what a porno film, and they had her dancing around, running around with little or no clothes. And a former prosecutor named Roger Wiedner. We're going to show you that tape now. And on the left, you will see Roger Wiedner's mother in her 90s. And this is from a show up in Oregon. She went to bat for her son, the prosecutor, when he turned against the corrupt courts of Oregon. And the reason Wilbur's there is to sound off. And he, by the way, won. Him and a gal named Pam won a big multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the state of Oregon, and they have to this day never paid off. That's what I call failure of accountability by election officials.